What's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
We're live. We're live.
Are we?
We are now. Yep. Sorry for being a little bit late. That was my fault. I'm
It was
staying at a
Josh's
hotel.
fault.
Yeah. And
His
I didn't
first
get
day
back.
on the job, and he's late. We fired people at work for that.
Well, yeah. I would have been on time, but I got up to my room and my dang key didn't work. So then I had to go back down, and the lady was like, well, it may be the battery on the thing. We'll have to call maintenance. And I'm like, oh, gosh, here we go. I'm going to be real late.
What, on the road again?
Just for tonight. Yeah. I don't have to travel much at all ever, but there's a customer that we have that needed some training done, and the guy that's supposed to do it actually got called to jury duty. So he's like, man, could you go down there and do that for me real quick? I'm like, yeah, it's just one, just tomorrow, and I'll be back home tomorrow evening. So
yesterday was the first day I worked in like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Weird going back to work.
Yeah. Indiana looks like Wisconsin right now. We got like a foot of snow Saturday.
And it don't look like Wisconsin because we ain't got no snow.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's crazy.
Y'all looking like West Virginia.
Yeah. We haven't had a snow like this in a long time. Of course, it happens it happened the last day of season. So can't really hunt it or anything, but I don't know. I'm excited about it because I'm going to get to go out and scout in the snow. And no, I never do that. Do what?
You done hunting then?
Yeah, our season went out.
Mm.
So I doubt I go. I mean, we got reduction zones that I could go up, but I can't buck hunt. You got to shoot a doe before you can start buck hunting. And that goes out the end of this month. So I don't know.
I was hunting tonight. I had one walking around, but I couldn't see it. About 40 yards from me.
That's kind of what I want to talk about tonight is like this little last stretch. I know like me and you were talking, I don't know, it's been a few days ago, Dan, about just the last stretch of the season. And you're kind of like, it's hard to kill a buck right now just because it's a lot of leftovers is all you're getting, you know?
The short days make it so tough too. There's no scouting time or anything. Like I was thinking with this buck that I'm after, the one that we were just talking about that I was after tonight, that if I walk the property, the way the most public people go in there because nobody's been hunting it, I'll bump them to where I can kill them. And I'm just trying to think, okay, when do I have time to do this? And these days are so short. I mean, you get out of work, it's dark, and it's like,
yeah.
I've been going to work at like, 1, 2 in the morning to get off of work in time to go hunting. And then, by the time I get to bed, I'm so tired in the morning. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Short days are kind of weird.
I enjoyed this late season this year because I had, we only get one buck in Indiana. So if you kill a buck, you're not really buck hunting anymore in late season. So this year I got to buck hunt in late season, and I had a good time, but I learned a lot too. Like you don't realize like how much foliage helps you deer hunting.
Oh yeah.
And when it's off, especially in hill country, it's just, I mean, I jumped the big buck I was after. I was probably 200 yards from him in the hills and jumped him. Like I could, it's just like, what the heck? What are you going to do? Like,
did he skylight you or was it just flat?
I don't know. I think he was on the same ridge that I was on. He was with a group of does. I was walking down this, you know how long the ridges are here, Dan, but like I was walking down the ridge to get to this spot. And I knew they were in the area that buck was in the area. And I kind of just look up ahead of me and then I could see flags. And then behind the flags is a great big rack going through the woods. I'm like, I was literally like 50 yards from setting up, but it's like 50 yards, too
Reminds
far.
Me of Nebraska when we were out there. You just take a peek over the hill like this, and you just see deer take off everywhere.
Yep.
It's like they're just watching the skylines, and you have to cross a hill to get in there.
Yeah.
You kind of start looking for those like ravine ways to get back. So just stay below the profile, but. In your area, at least you got some trees and stuff. You're trying to use some cover,
Yeah. Yeah, it was just negligence on my part. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. I was 200 yards from the bedding and all that. Like I was just like, well, I'll just kind of slip in here. And I was about 50 more yards. I was going to set up. And then I looked up and they were going. I'm like, golly, man. Then I set up one more time in that area, and I had a little corgi dog follow me to the stand and never leave. So that hunt was that hunt was runt. But
That's the funny part. That's the reality of hunting. I've been followed to my stand many times by dogs, unbelievably. So I can relate to that. But if it's not that, it's like the Danny the dog story where the guy's yelling Danny, and I thought he was calling.
Oh
me.
yeah,
and so many hunts get messed up in crazy ways. You run into crazy people, all kinds of stuff. And people never show that, in their videos and stuff. I always do. Most people don't. Only show themselves as perfect, and the hunt's what perfect.
Yeah, I know. That between that and coyotes this year, I had a lot of dog or canine issues in Indiana. I don't know. I have to do something with the coyotes in that area. They are just, insane how thick they are. I don't know if I need to learn how to trap or get one of those thermal scopes or what I need to do, but
I don't think there's much you can do.
I know. I don't think it's.
You go out and kill 600 of them with the thermal scope, you won't even see a dent in the number that you run into.
That's what my dad does a lot of coyote hunting. That's what he said. The amount you have to actually kill to knock them down isn't realistic for.
You can do it if there's enough people doing it. I saw a huge decrease in coyotes around here when thermal scopes went popular, but so many people are doing it now. All night long you're hearing shots. So a lot of people do it now, and when you get to that number, and some people are really good at it. The Barber boys are really good at it. They kill lots of them, truckloads like every night.
Yeah. I actually talked to Wyatt a couple years ago about coming down here and spending a weekend. I bet he could pile them up in there. Just for the
amount. He can teach a lot about the guns and stuff and the thermal optics and all that kind of stuff too. He's really, really smart with that stuff.
Yeah. But I also got on to, so Dan, you know where my house is? I live right there on the river. Across the river, there's a little patch woods. And then there's a 20-acre cornfield right there. And the farmer never picked it this year. It's still standing right now.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I called him and left him a message two or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember how long it was. And never heard anything from it. I kind of just wrote it up to whatever, and I'm sitting in the stand on Friday evening, and I look down and I got a text message from him. He's like, "Yeah, man, you can go in there anytime. You don't have to ask me." I'm like, "Ah." And so I had one day, I couldn't hunt Sunday, but I had one day, and I went into that cut cornfield, and there was just, tracks as big as just gigantic, a big set of giant tracks. And I know if a big deer is in that area. So it was a fun hunt, but as I was getting up, I was 2 sticks high. I'd never been in this woods before. So I was scouting my way in and finally found a spot on the map that I thought looked where I needed to be. And the sign showed that too. And I got 2 sticks up, and I'm looking in the corn, and I see a body in the cornfield, at 40 yards. And there was a group of 5 does in the corn right there. And so I just froze. Of course, the one saw me, or a little one saw me, but she didn't really do anything. And I kind of actually got back down on the ground and got my bow somehow. And they ended up feeding off and never came back in. But I bet I saw 100 turkeys in that cornfield, Dan. Every turkey in the county was in that cornfield, just eating corn, and then every so often, 10 of them would just fly up in the air and go into some trees. It was crazy.
One of my late season hunts, I had over 100 turkeys come in. It had to be well over 100, come right past me. But none of them came within shooting range, but they got to within 40, and all roosted right behind me, where I could see them kind of roost. And then a couple of them spotted me and started making all kinds of racket, but they stayed there because they didn't spot me until they were already roosted. But I even contemplated going in there in the morning and filling my fall tag, but I don't hate them that much.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hunt with you guys so that I can find turkey spots. You guys can keep your deer spots.
Well, they're good right now. We'll see what's going on in the springtime.
Eric got the first season over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got the third.
Huh.
First season can be pretty good because we get a lot of pressure, so when you're hunting public, that first week or two is really the good time.
They're fun. Are you guys' turkeys pretty noisy, Dan?
Yeah.
Or are they quiet?
They
I know
gobble
some
up,
areas
yeah.
they have. Okay.
They get quiet after they get some pressure, like most places. Usually the first couple of weeks they're pretty vocal, but you can usually get them vocal any time of the season.
That's my favorite part.
Oh, you would have loved this set because it was like all of them were just yelping, and you could hear the toms even yelping, like how they have that real deep yelp, making all kinds of noise, putting and purring, and I mean it was pretty cool. I mean they were like circled around me. None of them ever came within bow range.
Any of them spit and drum?
I can't say I ever heard that happen, but yeah, no big bucks though. A bunch of big turkeys came in.
Pretty hard to kill them things out of a tree stand, like a deer stand.
Yeah, they're paranoid.
Yeah. I shot 2 out of deer stands with bow because I always have a fall turkey tag because I just get the conservation tag or whatever it is where you get out everything. And both of them got away on me. Both of them I killed, but they flew away and I couldn't find them.
That's
yeah.
You almost need like a turkey setup, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, some kind of bigger broadhead and
or you got to break the shoulder.
Yeah. I don't I bow hunted turkeys one time. I got one, but I don't know. I'm not good enough at it yet to like be some guys are hardcore with that stuff and like to bow hunt them. And
I really just think it's kind of I don't know. I want to get a lot of hate for this, but I just think it's kind of I don't like bow hunting for turkeys. I would much rather kill them with a shotgun, preferably just because you kill them easier. You know what I mean? I just don't like the nicking them, hitting them kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong with my buddy Jordan. He's really good at it, but he's like dedicated his life to that. Like he's good at it. So
that's why I never shot one with a bow though. I'm so scared of hurting it and not finding it instead of with a rifle, whereas it's one and done.
I've shot a few with the bow, but with the shotgun, they go down pretty quick.
Yeah.
Or that's what I meant, the shotgun, not the rifle, the shotgun. Yeah. They go down pretty quick. And
you can hunt with rifles in Texas, I think.
There's some states you can hunt with rifles. Dude, have you seen those guys hunting fall turkeys with dogs, Dan?
No.
Yeah, so the concept, Clay Hayes shot one with a flintlock muzzleloader in his with his lab. But you find they're all flocked up right now, or the fall, they're all flocked up. Yeah. And you find a group and the dog goes in and just scatters them real good because they can kind of sneak up on them better than a human can usually. And so they get close to them and then they just bust them all out, and the turkeys all spread out in different directions. And then you just set up right there where you busted them, and they all start coming back to looking for each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to have a dog that listens, which my dog wouldn't be worth a crap at it, but he sat there and that dog busted him up, and they just sat there and he covered the dog up with a piece of like cloth or something. And the dog just sat there and he shot one, with his flintlock muzzleloader.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess that's a real popular way of
I've heard about it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't it seems like it would be fun in a sense, but like in a completely different way than turkey hunting. Cause like I like turkey hunting for the fact that you get to get on the ground and you can like chase them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I don't know. It's just a whole different, I don't know how I would feel about that. It's interesting.
I kind of love the run and gun myself. It doesn't mean it really has to be totally run and gun. I mean, you can go sit in a blind or something, but I don't want to sit in the same blind every day by a roost every day. I want to go after them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Is it Mojo that makes the one that goes on the shotgun? I think it's Mojo, and it's like a turkey fan, and you can like crawl through the grass. I have one of those. Listen, I know jakes are not the brightest creatures on the planet, but chasing a jake with one of those is the most fun you will ever have in your life. Like, because you can chase those things forever, and they will just gobble at the fan that's on your shotgun. It's so much fun.
It's unbelievable when they you're in the grass or something and you just like blink and they see it. You're up against a bush, you just kind of blink or you move your head like that and they see it from like 700 yards and take off. And then you can be in a blind and they walk right up to the blind, their head's 6 inches from you.
I know.
It's just like they're blind stupid.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they're so dang smart and frustrating. And other times, just like you see people like walk up to them and on social media or something. It's like, what is going on with these things? They're such a weird animal.
There's a town turkey here. It's a gobbler. It's a town turkey. And I'm like, y'all just feed it. And one of these days, one of y'all are going to get messed up real bad because that gobbler is going to get real mad and he's just not going to like you. And they're just like, let me pet the town turkey. I'm like, y'all don't know wild animals.
Yeah.
We had a big tom by the shop, and it was like in these bushes, and it was like laying there kind of like looking the other way. And the guys in the shop were like, get it, Dan, get it. And I snuck up on it and caught it. I got that on video. I jumped. It was a big tom, and it's literally the biggest tom I ever got, and I didn't even shoot it.
Yeah.
I need to see
I let it go.
so bad.
I didn't keep it. I let it go, obviously. But
yeah, right.
It had like a whole bunch of beards, and
now we know what you need to upload tomorrow. This video, so that we.
It is uploaded somewhere. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. It's right buried. It was a long time ago.
Somewhere down deep dark in the.
I'm actually wearing my quad blues, my uniform, the work uniform. And everything.
You used to always have them on in your early videos.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't like me making arrows that blow up and stuff while I'm wearing quad uniforms.
Wasn't there a video of you like catching a fish out of the water?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Just reaching down and grabbing it. How many things have you caught like that?
A lot. A lot. My mom used to say the only reason that I survived my childhood is we didn't grow up with her as bears.
Yeah.
I believe it.
My dad, he was never a turkey hunter. He went with some buddies when he was younger, like when he was my age, and they did the whole like traditional turkey hunting thing, like just got up early in the morning, set over a roosted turkey and killed it. He didn't shoot. He was just with the guys that did shoot it. And then they like went back home, and he just never did get into it. He's like, I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. and go shoot a bird, and well, then me and him started doing the run and gun stuff, and we killed a double last year. And he was like, I see how this could be fun. He's like, I think I like doing this. He's like, we'll just get up. He was all like, let's just go out at 11 instead of getting up early and just go after them for 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, you can. I mean, 11 o'clock's a good time to shoot one.
It is. Plus, you got the warmer weather. You got sunshine. It's great.
Yeah, in his older age, he could take and leave early morning hunting anymore. So
I'm with him.
But I don't know. Let's get back on the deer hunting topic. When we talk about turkeys, everybody else. Yeah.
Sorry to be real, y'all.
That's all right. I've grown more and more fond of turkey hunting over the years as I've gotten better at it. I think used to it just frustrated me. Dan, I think since the last show, while I'm thinking about this, you may want to bring it up. Is you got your workshops announced now?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much just got Sundays left, but we got Sunday, February 23rd, I believe it is, and we got March 2nd are available yet, but the 2 Saturdays are pretty much booked.
There you go. So if you want to come, better hurry up.
They went pretty quick. Yeah.
Dan, what are you doing between now and the end of the season then? Like, I know you're not going to give up, so.
Well, I'm concentrating on areas I know have big bucks, and I know that they're there now. And it's not as easy as what I kind of thought it would be. A little bit more activity. I'm having a lot of sits where I'm not seeing nothing, and I thought I'd be seeing a lot more deer, and it'd be harder in a different way that you'd have too many eyes around you. The deer seem to be more scattered. I guess probably there isn't a really good food concentration in both of the areas that I'm concentrating on right now. I have seen some really big concentrations of deer, but not where I can hunt. And I'm sure if I looked a little harder, I would find those. But I just haven't had the time, and I'm already on a couple of big bucks, so I don't want to really start wandering off further because I think those bucks are pretty isolated in an area, and I could probably get a chance. So I kind of know where these bucks, like there's two different areas I'm hunting, totally way separate from each other. And both of them, I kind of know where the deer are, where they're going to come out, where they're going to go. And I got to kind of just hunt the area down. And either I run out of spots or run out of time, or I kill one, whatever happens. But I'm just going to keep pounding it like that. The areas aren't that big. You think I would get on one a little faster than I am. You see the signs that they're there. I mean, like where I hunted tonight, I was in the same general area about 75 yards from where I sat. I want to say right before Christmas. And when I went back today, there was a whole new rub line of big, giant rubs, fresh, shavings laying on top of everything. And he's there. It's just a matter of hitting it right, hitting where he's at. But it's not a very big area, I guess both areas are big to most people. But when you look at them and you look at the deer terrain and how they would travel it, and if you got that kind of mindset, it's not that big. You can hunt down the area pretty quick and get on them. The area I was at tonight, I actually have a camera in there. Put it in there during the summer, and it's still running just fine. And about once every 2 weeks, I'll get a picture of that buck. And a lot of times it's the middle of the day. Yesterday he was on it at 4 p.m. But it's random, but I know he's in there. And I'm not really concentrating where that camera is, but I'm looking at the tree lines that travel through the bedding areas. I kind of got an idea where he's probably bedding, and I don't really want to intercept that. He comes out of it. It's just a matter of hitting the areas where he'd come out.
Yeah. What are they eating right now in those marshes and stuff?
I would think they're into dogwood quite a bit. Where this buck I was hunting tonight is, I have no idea. I've been thinking about that. He's been going two different directions, and it's just like he's staying in that swamp. There was something in the cattails 30 or 40 yards from me tonight, all the way up till dark. It actually sounded like he was eating cattails. You could hear the cattails kind of ripping.
Yeah.
And I've seen that before. I mean, you don't know what the heck they get out of a dry cattail, but
Yeah. Do you guys have red oaks or anything in those marshes or swamps?
We do over by the other area, and the deer are hitting them there. That area, I kind of know what they're hitting. They're splitting up. They're going to the red oaks, and they're going to cut crops. And it kind of goes back and forth, and it's the same buck that I'm hunting that's going to both. And I'm trying to kind of narrow it down and hit them, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
The easy part is I ran out of hunters. Nobody else is out there bothering me anymore, where it's been just huge pressure up until
it got cold.
Yeah, as soon as like gun season ended, it just kind of shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, gun season kind of deflates everybody from deer hunting. Seems like that's a good excuse to stop deer hunting. You shot a big one, though. It's been a handful of years ago now, though, about this time of year.
Yeah, January 14th, I got one. I got a really nice one.
Yeah.
That was a big old buck.
Yeah. I saw in the comments there, someone was talking about if the deer go to the hills. You ever hunt western Wisconsin this time of year, where the hills are?
I have a few times, not real often, but in the hill country, usually it gets late. You start losing cover. I go down in the swamps, the river bottoms, like in western Wisconsin. I'll go down along the Wisconsin River, hunt that stuff. You still see them in the hills a little bit too. I just think that more of your mature bucks are going to go to where there's cover.
Mm-hmm. And we have them in. They like to go in the hills in Indiana. Like we have chestnut oaks, red oaks. It's just a
if you got oaks in there and the acorns are still in the ground, yeah, they're going to be up there for sure.
Yeah, I find probably 90% of the sheds I pick up are in the hills on tops. Like it seems like, I mean, this isn't a hard rule, but like a lot of times your white oaks are going to be lower on elevation, and then you got like your red oaks will be kind of little bit higher, and then like chestnut oaks seems like they're always up on the top, and they just travel those big ridges eating those chestnut oaks this time of year and find sheds and everything else up there.
Over by me, they really ignored. We didn't have very many acorns this year. We had some reds, and they really ignored them. They just like didn't eat them, which was really surprising to me. And then all of a sudden, after gun season, we got some snow. They started pounding them, like digging them up out of the leaves.
I wonder if there was something with the tannins in them this year or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
some reason they didn't like
them. People say that, and it makes sense, but you'd think that'd be every time. But you're right. Like maybe this year there's something bitter about them that settled with the cold.
Like if I don't know. Well, I don't know what that could have caused that, but
or maybe they had a better food source that I'm not even aware of, and now they don't.
Right. Do you guys have locust trees around you guys?
Some, not as many as down by you, but we have some.
Yeah, they were in Illinois when I hunted late season. We don't have a lot around where I hunt, at least. I mean, they're here, but in Illinois, they were everywhere late season a few years ago when I was hunting with Patrick, and they were pounding those things. I mean, they were. It was like a dang.
It's nice if not everywhere, but if you have a few of them in an area concentrated, they can be a huge draw.
Yeah.
Like black locust beans you're talking about, right? They eat the bean pods.
Oh yeah, the big long. Yeah. I don't know. They're usually like 8 to 10 inches long, and they suck those things right. They eat them whole.
Are those the like big helicopter leaves?
No, they're actually a pod. They're really hard. They're like a beef jerky that they're eating.
Yeah, they have little.
How they chew through them.
Yeah, they got little foods inside of them.
Okay.
They're in locust
Apparently,
trees.
there's like 5 of them in our yard. I just don't know trees because I'm allergic to all of them.
Locust trees typically they got big thorns on them, big nasty looking trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They always have the trees that are in the perfect spot that if you climb it, you'll die.
Yep, exactly.
Those trees are so horrible.
And then another problem that it's just like you feel like you're just sitting up there in the air this time of year too. I mean, you have no cover. It's just tough. And then the deer are all grouped up.
It ain't just that. You lose all the bird noise, or all the noise. It is dead quiet. You almost want there to be a wind, but if there's a wind at this time of the year, it's so cold. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it can be so quiet with no bird noise or anything. I mean, you don't even realize at early season how much noise there is around you. But you go out now, and if it's dead calm, you could hear a deer walking 500 yards away. You think you can get to your tree without them hearing you?
No. I didn't think about that. You're right though. It's super, super quiet in the woods right now.
When we were in Nebraska, I was really sick, and I mean really sick, and I was gagging all the time and stuff, and I was hunting anyways. It's not going to make me stop trying, right? So I was on a stand, and I was, I don't know, a few hundred yards from Eric, and I just felt like some gag in my throat, and it was bothering me. And just coughed it out real quietly, and I'm like, I got away with that. And then afterwards, it was near closing time. I get down and I come out, and Eric's at the truck. He goes, I figured you were getting down a little early. I heard you coughing when you got down. I'm like, what? You heard me cough? I was like, I did that really quietly so the deer wouldn't hear me. So if he heard me from 300 yards, I think everything in the woods probably heard me. You know?
Yeah. I don't know that. I mean, you definitely don't want to make noise, but man, I hear things cough in the woods all the time. As long as you're not, like you said, like making kind of a noise instead of a or something like that. You don't want to do that. But I think if you're,
right.
Yeah, right. That buck I shot in Tennessee this year, he coughed before I saw him. I heard him cough.
I
him,
swear
him
that
or
6 point. Oh, go ahead.
him or one of the does he was with. Either way, I could hear him coughing in the woods before they came out.
I was gonna say, I swear that day that I shot that 6 point, I don't know if it was that 6 point or not because he wasn't up there when I came in, but there was a deer that farted. I swear, Justin and I both heard it. We just hear, and that's it. And I was like, he looks at me and he's like, I don't think I've ever heard a deer fart, and I swear that was a deer fart.
It could have been. I've seen
I don't know
trail
what it
cam footage
was.
of that happening.
But yeah, that's about the only weird noise I've heard.
Did you guys see that deer that got killed in Indiana this year?
I just got a glimpse of it. That giant.
Yeah, it was like 280-inch deer.
Yeah, how many points did that thing have?
40.
Yeah, cactus buck.
Mm-hmm. I was going to try to look it up here.
I don't know if they still do, but for a while they had a problem with guys in Texas on the ranches cutting the nuts off the deer to make them into cactus bucks.
Oh.
Wait, how did they cut the nuts off and turn them into cactus butts? What does that mean?
I think they catch them as fawns. The antlers won't quit growing if they don't have the testosterone or whatever to stop it.
Oh, okay.
They also be in velvet usually.
Mm-hmm. They stay in velvet, yeah. They don't harden. They just keep growing.
That's wild.
So they fall off when they harden.
Right. I didn't know cutting off the nuts did that.
I don't know the exact process. I just remember there was a whole big thing about that years ago.
Huh.
Yeah. And this image isn't real clear, but just look it up on it's the cactus buck in Indiana. They killed it in Indiana. I never heard of that though, Dan. I didn't know that. Man, people do anything, won't they?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
There was I remember some article. I mean, this goes way back to like the 80s or 90s, but somebody was catching deer and mutilating the antlers to make them start growing splits and stuff. Like cutting them up. And
that's awful.
Again, it was on like a private ranch that was real huge or something like that. But people used to do all kinds of crazy stuff.
You can't get away with that stuff as much anymore because people can't keep their mouth shut or can't not put it on social media.
Right.
And
a lot of things have been fixed. I mean, with video and all that kind of stuff, and that's the good part about like new technologies. Like we always bash them a lot, but there are some good things about it too. Like trail cameras and stuff that really stop trespassing.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows you go on somebody's property, there's going to be a picture of you. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, all that technology, social media, trail cameras, whatever you want to say, it's all good. It's not the social media or trail cameras problem. It's the humans that are trying to use it and they can't handle it. Their problem. It's like we could all be perfect social media users and everything would be perfect, but we can't handle it. So
there's a lot of people that are just looking for tools to create ways to, outdo everybody else. And there's other people that, just go through society to live in life.
What is it? They say there's always one or two people that ruin it for the group.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Same goes for that stuff.
Did you guys see Michael Waddell was on Joe Rogan the other day?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was kind of refreshing. Like he was an actual just regular hunter, it seemed like on there. I mean, not that Michael Waddell was a regular hunter, but he presented himself as a, one of the hunting population instead of just like, I don't know. He didn't really sugarcoat anything or I don't know. It was good. It was pretty good.
I like the Ted Nugent interview. Did you watch that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
It has its moments. I mean, for a lot of it is, Ted being Ted talking rock and roll and crap and all of his little stupid phrases. But when he got to the parts where he talked about Fred Bear and stuff, it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael went over the history of like archery with Pope and Young and how that all got started. Not the club Pope and Young, but like, art was it? I think they are the ones that, man, I'm going to butcher this story, but anyway, he went over some of the history of archery and how that all got started with some of the Indian tribes and how they taught some
Well, they had that
Pope
Indian
part.
that Ted Nugent talked about that too, and his podcast talked about, was it Ishi, who they caught him, and they were gonna, and if they killed him, they would get a reward, like a bounty, but instead they put him in jail, and then was it Pope and Young? I don't know, but
it was Saxton Pope and Art Young. Yeah, I think they were like two doctors.
They went and got him, and they had him teach them about bow hunting,
mm-hmm.
and that's where a lot of our stuff came from.
Yeah, that's how I got bow hunting, because bow hunting wasn't always a thing, really. I mean, not very many people bow hunted back then. I mean, not the whatever you call it, white people.
When I was a kid, there was a lot of people that would say you could hunt on their land, but you could only gun hunt, no bow hunting. We don't want you wounding any deer, and really, I always looked at it as odd, because I thought gun hunters are the ones wounding stuff, because you go out and you watch these guys, and it's gotten way better now. So take it with a grain of salt. But you see guys, they see a deer, they shoot at it. They don't even go look, because, it was running, it was 200. Well, why'd you shoot? How do you know if you did? I can't tell you how many times I've shot at a deer. You don't see any reaction, and you go over there and you find a blood trail, find a deer, down the trail. But bow hunters, gun hunters, I think it's a wash. I think I do way better with a gun because of it's closer shots and it's high power and stuff, and I can't see straight with a bow. But bows, if you hit them right, they're pretty deadly.
Yeah, they are. It still always baffles my mind, like the amount. I mean, when you shoot something with a gun, the amount of blood the lack of blood sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you don't typically get a great blood trail all the time. At least not starting off. But like with a gun or with a bow, it's just like they're devastating. It's crazy how devastating it is. And some people can't. Like, if you talk to people that aren't in the know, they are baffled that you can even kill something with a bow. You know what I mean? Or like, you killed something with that. I remember in college I had my bow and arrow in my passenger seat during deer season or something, and I had to take a buddy like down the road or something, and he got in and I had to move my bow. He's like, "You shoot something with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it kills them real good."
When I did hair, the amount of times I'd tell people that I shoot with a bow, they'd be like, "You mean a crossbow, right?" And I'm like, "No, a compound." And they'd be like, it's just, it's amazing the difference that you get from people. In like, it is hard to shoot with a compound, and it's a lot of accuracy, and it's a lot of preparation. It's a lot of practice. And I don't think people see that.
I don't know if you feel this way, Dan, but like every time you shoot a nice buck with a bow, it's like, it still feels like a miracle to me sometimes. I was like, I can't believe that worked out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that can go wrong with the bow and arrow, and whenever it happens, it's like, holy cow. I think that's why it's so fun, right? Or so rewarding.
Do either of you, I have a question, because I still get this and I'm new. I'm very well aware that I'm new still in comparison to you two. Do you guys ever wonder like where you hit, or like question whether you actually hit? Does that ever go away?
Usually I know where I hit a deer. When I shoot at a deer, I'm watching the arrow travel. Bad hit, good hit, I know where I hit it. Okay. I've been off where I've had it where you shoot a deer and it looks like the arrow's perfect. And when you find a deer, it's not exactly where you thought, but it's always going to be right in that vicinity.
Okay.
For me. How about you, Josh?
I don't have a problem seeing my arrow, but I have friends that have, I mean, they just like once they shoot that thing, they have no idea what happened.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty in tune with what I have, what's going on.
I can tell you, when I first started hunting, I can remember that I wouldn't remember shooting. Now I do, but I can remember I'd be aiming at a deer forever, and then all of a sudden you shoot, and you're like, what happened? It's almost like instinct. I think it was part of that was just a huge adrenaline rush you'd get, as a younger hunter or something. Yeah. And I don't really get that as much anymore. It's not to say I don't enjoy it. It's just to say that I've calmed down as a hunter, over the years.
It's more so muscle memory for you now.
I got some buddies that can't even tell you which way the deer freaking ran when you get there. Like, That's happening to me more.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll turn into Josh Talker if I shoot one this year, and I will be like, oh my God, I really did that with a bow? I'm having a hell of a year, man.
I don't know. Not that I don't know. Maybe I worded that wrong. It's not like not that I think it's a miracle thing, but it's just like super cool still. It's just like, man, that's crazy. I mean, it's just still crazy.
Josh is like looking around. Anybody see that? I did that.
See that? Holy cow.
That was me this year. I was Josh this year.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know though. It is what it is. I hope I keep feeling that way about deer hunting.
That's how you know you have it bad still, and you still have that passion for it.
Oh yeah. I still get to where, like this late season, I hunted quite a bit this late season, and every time, every set, I was always like, man, this could be my last set, and then I would just like find some reason to get back out there again. It's like I can't help myself sometimes.
When I shoot a deer, it's always like, all right, I'm gonna take some time off here. I'm just gonna lay back and sit and spend some time with the wife. Just do some things I need to get done and stuff. And that lasts about 6 or 8 hours.
Yeah, sometimes
I got to get back out there. I just,
yeah.
What drives me nuts is when I fill an in-season tag too early, like day 5 or something, and it's like, oh my, what am I going to do? Because you get one tag,
Yeah. Yep. I was sitting there on Saturday was the day before, the last day in Indiana, and we were going to get that big snowstorm Sunday midday or in the morning and going to start. And I knew, and Maddie wanted me home during all that, and I was sitting in that cornfield, that standing corn on Saturday, and I texted her. I'm like, man, it looks really good in here. There's like deer everywhere, there's tracks everywhere, big sign. And she's like, yeah, that's awesome. Maybe you'll get one tonight. And then about an hour later, I like text her. I'm like, I think I'm just going to leave my stand up in here. And if I get to slip out tomorrow, I'll come back in here, for the last day. She's like, I want you home tomorrow all day. I'm like, all right. So I tore everything down and brought it with me, but I'm just ornery like that.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have told her. You should just left it there.
That's what you would have done. I was hoping she'd be like, yeah, that's a good idea, but that was not what she said. Yeah.
Females have their own agendas, all right?
Well, she was right. I already told her I'd be home Sunday, and we actually had a Christmas we were supposed to go to. We have a late Christmas just with our family, like the cousins and stuff, but we canceled it because of the snow. We're gonna do it this weekend. But I almost got to hunt the last day of season, and I didn't think I was going to. But
you're never going to shoot a last day buck unless you hunt last
day. Yeah, mine would have been. I wish that freaking guy would have got back with me right away. I don't know what took him 2 or 3 weeks to get back to me. Because I reached out to him during muzzleloader season. Man, if I would have had a muzzleloader in there, I think I would have got a big one. Or I would have overhunted it and spooked everything out of it. One of the two. Anyway, are you guys done then? Ashley, do you guys have tags still or season left?
We have heritage season. That's our last season. But you have to purchase. So heritage season is weird here. Like you can hunt and it counts as your 2024 license, like your limit. But you have to purchase a 2025 license.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's on your 2025 license, but it counts towards your 2024 when you do heritage season. And that's our last season that we have. So we can do longbows, muzzleloaders, stuff like that.
When you say muzzleloader, is it flintlock or is it any muzzleloader?
Flintlock. I think it can have, like, beads, but it can't have, like, an actual scope on it.
Oh, okay. Open sights or whatever.
Yeah.
Have a primer?
Percussion cap, I think is what he's screaming at me in there. I don't know much about muzzleloaders. I've shot one once and it kicked me in the shoulder and I did not like it.
My buddy Dave up in Michigan was telling me that all their muzzleloader seasons in Michigan, they've made it to where you can just shoot whatever now.
Yeah, a muzzleloader season in Michigan was
It's rifle.
Use your 30-06 if you want.
Yeah, I was like, why do they even call it muzzleloader season anymore?
No, he just told me it was traditional as long as it's percussion cap. So okay. I don't know. That I'm not good at that stuff. I'm still learning.
I don't know a whole lot about muzzleloaders either. So my dad used to have a flintlock, but I don't think he even has that anymore.
Dude, yeah, there's a lot now.
Yeah. Already. Yep. I've heard many people tell me that. Yeah, they've seen pictures of deer without antlers on their heads.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any pictures of any shed deer here in Indiana. I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're not out there. Have you? Yeah, I found them this time of year in the past, so it doesn't surprise me at all. Patrick told me that
we got a whole bunch of them shot during that stupid
doe season.
Doe hunt, that holiday hunt. A huge number of the deer that are shot as does are bucks.
Yeah. Indiana did away with that doe season. We used to have one of those too, Dan, and they took it away last year. It used to be this week. It would be like a week after bow season. You could go rifle hunt does again.
Wow. Yeah, you really shouldn't have that down there. I mean, you guys don't have near the population that you could have.
No, they took it out last year.
I mean, you got quality bucks, but you got a low population.
Yeah. We're also getting a bobcat season next year, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Can you shoot bobcats up in Wisconsin?
Yeah, but you got to apply for them, and it's almost like getting a bear permit. So I got a permit this year, and my permit is good right now. So we're waiting for some snow. Then we're going to go after them with hounds.
How long you got for it?
I think it's like a month. I don't know how my tag's sitting here someplace, but I think I got about a month left.
Justin got a really cool video of a bobcat when we were in Wisconsin last year, and I messaged you. I'll have to send you the video because we were sitting in a blind and we had no clue about him, and all of a sudden Justin just sees this bobcat coming through, and everybody Skip and I forget Brady. They were all like, "Oh my gosh, let me see that!" And it's a clear video. It's just prowling on through.
Cool.
We got them everywhere in Indiana. They're all over the place now. Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw 3 this year from the deer stand.
Are they at nuisance point or?
I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know. There are enough of them that we're going to get a season next year. You can only shoot one, but you at least get
everybody
one.
Can get a tag?
I think that's how it's going to work. I don't know exactly how it's all. I mean, the rule book hasn't been. This is all just rumored. But I think you can trap one or
pretty quick if you give everybody a tag.
Yeah, I don't know. They have a lot of kittens and stuff whenever they reproduce.
Some places down south you can hunt them. I think like small game. I mean, you can hunt them
yeah. I think Iowa's like that. I think you can trap or kill as many about as you want. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but I think they're pretty liberal with the seasons.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin can take 4 or 5 years to get a tag.
Yeah, I think it's one. The limit is one, kind of like you would, a squirrel or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd like to get one. I could have. I say I could have. There was one of them bow range of me this year.
If you get one, are you going to mount it?
Yeah, I probably would do something with it. I don't know if I'd mount it or just get it like a nice rug. Is that what it's called, a rug or a
rug? I think it's a rug. I just crack up. I think about the kids
kitty
playing
rug.
on it.
Yeah, kitty rug. I don't know. I don't anymore. Like I used to be real into hunting other things, and I just haven't gotten into like my elk hunting or mule deer hunting. I just been like on this whitetail obsession the last handful of years. I don't know why I haven't got excited about anything else.
Yeah, no, I tried to get you up here bear hunting. You didn't even feel interested in that.
You sound so like pouty when you said that.
You made Dan sad. You made Dan sad.
You leave me We're amazed you wouldn't want it.
I would like to. No, I would like to. I don't know.
It does get hard when you start doing early seasons and places where you can go chase bears, or I'm even starting to look a little bit at elk sniffing around there, and it's like, well, it's hard to do elk when you're waiting for bear tag. When you start applying for other things too, like applying for Maine moose, you're hoping you get lucky. Well, you get the Maine moose, and if you got a bear permit for Wisconsin at the same time, or Minnesota, it's like the same time as the moose tag, and you could hit it where you do draws like that on the same year if you're applying for stuff. It's like,
yeah, you got to pay attention to all that stuff. And a buddy of mine he wants to. California has a blacktail season in August, and he wants to go out there and hunt those things.
That'd be so hot.
That don't sound fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're talking about bobcat hunting.
California in August just doesn't sound fun. I mean, California.
That's when their archery season is. Their archery season is August. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's some fermented people right there.
Yeah, apparently you hunt them very similar to whitetails. I mean, they're, I think a lot of those guys, like Dan, I got a couple buddies that live out there that, they actually have never been whitetail hunting before, and they learn all their like tactics from you, for blacktails, because nobody really talks about. I mean, nobody talks about blacktails really. I mean, there are some people, but not like the whitetail world.
Right, I've had people tell me that.
Yeah,
blacktails.
Yeah, in certain parts of California, there's some big blacktails, like 150s.
Are they northern or southern?
Northern.
Josh.
Northern. Yeah.
They aren't too far from Washington then. They can go hunt whitetail in Washington.
I don't know. Yeah, I think there's whitetails in Washington, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. There's whitetail, blacktail, elk, moose.
Everything.
That's where I came from, and I didn't hunt until I moved over here.
Dang. Yeah. That Western stuff is like, I think it's a curse, and I think us people out east think that would be real cool to live out there, but I don't think they get to hunt as much as we do. I mean,
no. And then
Jeremy was talking about like that, like he had a couple weeks to bow hunt or something, like for deer.
Yeah.
I don't know much.
Keep changing.
I don't know much about Montana, but I know Washington's a lot more liberal too, and like they make it really difficult for people to hunt in Washington.
Yeah.
So I know Montana's a little better and a little more lenient, but like Jeremy, he had a lot of stipulations and stuff like that on his seasons. I don't know if Idaho would be any different because it's kind of the same terrain and the same animals, but Idaho is not as liberal and it's not as stipulation filled as Montana.
Yeah, I think their seasons are shorter. Bag limits are usually just one. Sometimes like here we just can stack up a lot of animals and get a lot of experience because we can shoot does or shoot multiple bucks and hop over from state to state and hunt different states. Whereas out there, it's all kind of very difficult to do that. I don't know. Dan, what are you going to do next year? Where's your big hunt next year going to be?
I don't know. I really want to do Illinois.
That'd be easy for you. You can buzz down there pretty easy.
Yeah. Thinking about coming back down by you, just messing around down in the hills.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily right by you, but back in that area. Like that. What else? I don't know.
West Virginia got hills too.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go out east, but I really wanted to go out east early. Like early September. But I'm anticipating bear tags coming up the next couple of years.
In Wisconsin or Minnesota or where?
I'll probably draw Wisconsin this year and Minnesota next year, I'm thinking.
Hey, what happened to your bear tag in Michigan?
I've still got points.
Oh, okay. You didn't put in then.
Yeah, I got to find somebody to hunt with up there. I'm not going up there and doing it myself. It's just too much to drive that far and figure it out.
Yeah.
I think I haven't done I did one dog hunt for bears. I think I want to do a dog hunt. I wouldn't mind finding a dog hunting guide in Michigan. It's really hard for a non-resident to get into the good zones in the UP, anyways. With get like the good time zones, the time, like the first seasons and stuff, which are kind of critical for bait hunting. So I wouldn't mind doing dog up there. I forget what I got for points. I think I got like 7 points or something in Michigan.
I've been kind of, I don't know, listening to or watching. You know who Clay Newcomb is?
Yeah.
I think he has he works for Meteor now, but he started Bear Hunter magazine or I can't remember. He lives in Arkansas. Have you ever hunted down there for bear?
I have not. I haven't hunted in Arkansas, period. I've been in Arkansas, but I haven't hunted there.
Yeah. Those guys, you guys that bear hunt, man, it's like you're a different breed because he was talking, he had a guy on his show, and it was a kid. He killed one with like a primitive bow he made, and he was like driving 4 hours to bait like 3 times a week, back and forth. I'm like, gosh, what a time suck.
Yeah,
and money, the money pig.
Minnesota, it's 8 hours one way, and we drive almost to Canada, and I bait when baiting starts. I drive back, drive up the next weekend, bait, drive back up the next weekend and bait, and then I usually just stay there till it starts because you get it's baiting starts on August 15th, and then the season starts on September 1st. I'm glad it doesn't start earlier because then you couldn't do it. That's what's wrong with Wisconsin. I can't even do it in Wisconsin because you can't compete with the guides. You can only put out 10 gallons of bait in Wisconsin, and the bears eat it in a night, and then there's a week with no bait. And it works fine during the summer, but as soon as you get down to fall, when everybody's baiting, those bears are not going to put up with that stuff, and they just disappear. And Minnesota, I could put out enough to keep them happy for a week. And I've just got that down to science up there. I mean, we do really well up there. And but it's an 8-hour one-way drive to bait. One way is 8 hours. And then just driving through to all the bait stations in the woods and stuff. I mean, it is a 2-day process. So, it's a whole weekend of baiting, that 8-hour trip up there, a couple of days of baiting and an 8-hour trip back. And, but it's a blast.
Yeah. Is there people you could hire to bait for you? Like,
I could, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that most people wouldn't do it the way I want it done. And there's some problematic things with it. Like one is that bears can smell the individual person. So they'll know who's been there. So you got a guy baiting, and then another guy shows up. They smell a new scent that freaks them out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another thing you got to do is kind of like keep the same trail. You always walk the same trail in and out because as soon as you change something, they freak out. So I'll set up a camera, I'll set up a bait, and I'll set up a trail so that I come in a way that I walk past every tree that I think I might hunt out of, right, to get to that bait every single time. Because I do not want to walk off that trail to get to a tree to hunt. So I make sure it goes past the tree I'm going to hunt out of. And then I hunt my baits on a crosswind because the bears will come out of the swamp into the hardwoods. So I'm usually on a point or something, and they'll try to circle downwind of the bait. Young ones will just come running in stupid, but the small ones will circle around to the big ones will circle around to the downwind side. A lot of the time, they'll smell the bait and see if it's safe before they come in. So you want to be, a good distance from that bait, so that the bear doesn't smell you when he's downwind of the bait. So you're on just off wind, right? So it's kind of a strange way to put it, but most of the really big ones I get come straight into the wind, nose to wind, right to the bait. They circle in from the swamps behind them. They're really intelligent animals, and killing a mature bear is really something. I mean, they live to be old animals. My last one was 5 years old, but the one before that was 15, and the one before that was 12 years old. And those are old bears, giant bears, And when you get most people who are hunting bears, their average bear is 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah. There's so much it's a different type of hunting. Like it does sound fun. I will admit that. Like especially the tactics of it.
It is. I mean, you got to be really sly about how you put baits out, how you do things, and what you feed them, what kind of baits you use, where exactly you place the bait, how the winds are going to work, the thermals are going to work, and stuff like that. And then you got to have backup areas for when you don't have a crosswind at the bait that you want to hunt, right? So, Minnesota only allows you to have 3 baits. So so what we can do is we can hunt each other's baits. So you got 4 guys because you need a camp because it's so much work.
Yeah.
That you need guys to hunt with. So we got 4 guys that go as a group, and that allows us 12 baits. So you can hunt any of the 12 baits as long as all of our names are on each one of them. But 3 of them are assigned to each person. But every time somebody shoots a bear, you got to take away 3 baits out of 12.
Gotcha.
Take the 3 worst ones away,
Yeah. Some of the comments are making me laugh. Some Steve asked, "Did you ever get that high-end camera yet, Dan?" There went Ashley. That post on the Facebook forum made me laugh pretty hard.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Crazy.
You get that every year.
I know. It's just it's like they remember me saying that I use a cheap camera because I break them a lot, right?
Yeah.
So they just figure it's
that was a long
camera.
time ago, though. I mean,
he didn't zoom in. It's poor quality.
We should do it
because I'm self-filming.
We should do a bit. Because I'm not to toot my own horn because you've self-filmed way more than I have, but I can't imagine there's 2 guys on the internet that have done more self-filming of deer hunts than me and you.
Probably not.
So we ought to do a show about it sometime. People are probably interested in it because there is a lot to learn when it comes to self-filming. It's not easy.
Right.
I don't even think about it anymore. Like it's pretty natural to me, but there's some tricks and stuff for people to learn.
I wish I still had it. I don't anymore, but I had video of when I hunt, and I don't know what happened to it, but I don't have it anymore. But I was videotaping a deer coming in, and I went to move the camera, and the tripod, the plastic on the tripod broke.
Yeah.
And the camera, while recording, fell through the sky spinning like this. It smashed. I had it on video.
Yeah, and I'll
wish
tell
I had that now. It'd be a good video.
I'll say this, yeah, self-filming deer hunts way easier than self-filming a turkey hunt. I hate filming turkey hunts by yourself. I don't know. You're always in some awkward position with a gun, and you're trying to. It's a mess.
Every time the turkey comes in like over here, and you're like,
yeah, it's like
and you're.
Just get a head mount camera or a dang shotgun mount camera and hope it works. All right. We've been on here for an hour. I don't know if Ashley's going to hop back on. I can try to. I haven't been paying real close attention to the questions, but if you guys got questions about anything, drop them in the comments section. Oh, here she is. Maybe she's been keeping. We're getting ready to start questions, Ashley.
Oh. Yeah, I was keeping track of them, and then my iPad died.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I've got my phone too.
It's all right. But Dan uses a camera that is the same sensor that like guys from the THP uses. I sold him the camera. His camera doesn't really get any better. I mean, you can, but his camera's fine. Everybody.
Yeah, you see what happens when you give me a high quality camera. I start not turning on the gain and
People,
black screen, and
there's always there's always someone that needs something.
Right.
Okay, so this is a random question that I haven't heard or seen before, and it may have been asked forever ago. But Jim was wondering, does anybody use cross country skis?
To hunt? I don't.
No, I know a lot of my buddies up in Wisconsin have like snowshoes.
Yeah, but no skis.
Not that I've ever heard of.
They got what they call marsh skis too, where people use them to hunt with to get into marshes. It's not really a ski; it's like a snowshoe kind of thing. But I don't like them. I don't like snowshoes either because getting through cattails with them is almost impossible. But getting across country, you can get across country with snowshoes on pretty good. But I'm usually in pretty thick terrain and stuff, and it just making your feet bigger just gets them more tangled up.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even regular skied, let alone cross country skied.
Yeah, that would just be a mess. Somebody would have to find me. I lost most of the questions were in the beginning, and I can't find the beginning of the questions. I don't know how to get back to the beginning of the podcast. It only lets me go up so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go through them. No big deal. Let's see here.
It lets me go up till about 8:30. Well, not even 8:30.
Well,
8:48.
Brian, he had a question. He says, Dan, are you still after the buck prime time, just seeing crossing the road?
I haven't been able to relocate it after gun season. So I think I may have seen it on private because there's some private next to it that just has all the deer on it. It seems like all the deer have moved off that property onto some private where there's a non-hunting family doesn't allow any hunting. And every time you go by in the evening, there's like 150 deer out there. And a couple of them have been some real giants. And I think that might be my buck, one of them. He's been far enough back that I can't really tell, but I can't really locate that particular buck on the property where I could hunt him right now. He just seems to be staying on the private.
You feel like you got a lot of, you got high hopes for next year?
Yeah, I always got high hopes. I'm one of those guys that has that glass full all the time, right? But I'm on the deer. I'm closing out the season on the deer. I'm sure those deer are still going to be around next year, and I'm going to be right in there, right on them.
Here, we can talk about this because obviously some people aren't up to speed. Jet said, did Josh leave Dan to do his own thing and then come back now? So we're doing this, like this week will be Dan's, and then we'll do mine next week, and we're just going to rotate back and forth. So
it sounded like a troll comment.
It was, but that's all right. People like to look into things more than there's there.
Riley O'Connell is wondering, are you going to do any hill country workshops in the next couple of years?
I may do another one this year. I gotta work on that yet. I've got to find time to work on it, but I'm thinking about doing one. We'll see how it goes because we were talking about not doing one this year because last year's didn't fill up very well. Everybody said they wanted to go to one. When I put one on, we didn't get a lot of guys. But I might do one this year. I'm working on it. So stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Next question is from Josh, not our Josh, but Josh. Dan, have you looked extensively into activated carbon to negate human scent?
This
yes.
might be a troll question.
You're right. Yes, I have, and I do not want to use it. No.
You said this might be a troll. Swamp Bucker, established 2011, was wondering what did they weigh, and I think he was referring to your bears. I think that's when we were talking about your bears.
Yeah. The bears in Minnesota are a little leaner than like Wisconsin Wisconsin, they bait them all year from April 14th on, and we got lots of crops and stuff. Where I'm hunting in Minnesota is really Northwoods. I mean, it's there's no oaks, there's no crops. It's just solid like tamarack and swamps and poplar. They're eating a lot of poplar trees and brush and berries and stuff like that and grasses. So they're leaner bears. So a mature bear there is like about 400 pounds. So the 15-year-old was a 400, probably a little over 400 pounds. The 12-year-old bear was probably a little under that, 3 something. And the 5-year-old was in the 350 range. So they're a little leaner up there than like you get a bear in Wisconsin that's 15 years old is probably going to be 500 or might even be bigger than that. Bears here get a lot bigger. I got a bear in Wisconsin, my biggest bear, and that bear was a 500-pound bear. I got that in Lincoln County. That was actually a boon.
Do you mount your bears, or what do you do with them?
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, I got a lot of bear mounts.
Dan, does your house just look like a museum?
No,
he pawns them off on his taxidermist. His taxidermist had to build a dang warehouse for all Dan's crap he has.
But I am building a building. And every time I see the taxidermist says, "How's that building coming, Dan?" Just actually, and he's always like, "I'm always like, well, you got to do workshops this year, and it's like afford the concrete, afford the walls, and And he says, "No hurry, Dan. I like your heads here. They attract a lot of attention."
Just so everyone knows, these workshops go to another wall for Dan's building.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it brings a bunch of business in to him. People like to come in there and see him.
Okay, this one, because there's been a lot of things said recently. Is Ashley's boyfriend okay with her talking to y'all, or is she single? I am happily married. We all hunt. My husband has met Dan and Josh, so we're golden. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's a weird question.
Yeah. There's some weird things, man.
Oh, I know.
Somebody said, Charles, do you think whitetails can differentiate human to human like you described bears' smelling abilities?
Absolutely.
I think we covered that when we had you had a doctor or something of sorts, and he was talking.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of his name, but I think you guys covered a bunch of that.
Ken.
On that.
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah.
Ken Norden or whatever his name was. Yeah, they can smell individual people. All animals with that high sense of smell can do that, just like a dog can. Just like a dog can. A deer smells way better than a dog, and you can take a person and have a dog smell the person's hat and run through an area where 50 people have walked through, and he'll follow the right trail to the person who owns the hat. And a deer smells better than a dog. So if they've had run-ins with a particular person that are bad, they can remember that. If they've had run-ins with a farmer that's never bothered them over the years and have walked past them, they can remember that.
I think that's what makes smart bucks too, is the younger bucks see other deer get shot and they remember the smells of the people, the smells of the gunfire. Maybe not necessarily with bows, and I could be wrong, but I feel like they put a lot of those smells to time frames in the year too. I think they learn over the years.
I'll go one past this too and say that, I think a lot of deer learn things from their parents, like from their mom anyways, not their parents. They don't really know their dads. They got bad dads, delinquent dads. But the moms teach them. If you go onto public land and you go in September and nobody's really hunted yet and you run into fawns, they're pretty stupid, but they're also pretty smart. They'll run from you and everything else. You go onto a managed farm, managed ranch, and you can walk right up to these things. They just stare at you like, oh, what's that? And even the does act different and stuff, right? You get a deer that are pressured and hunted learn better. They don't just learn over time. It's not just a time thing. It's like carried down to the next generation. I mean, they're teaching their offspring, because the paranoia of that doe that's lived for 5 years is going to go right into that fawn. You know what I mean? For being around her, and they're gonna check those smells more. They're gonna be paranoid of predator scents way more than deer that aren't pressured.
Johnny Cardenas is wondering, can you tell the story about the random kid who dragged your deer out for you?
The random kid that dragged the deer out. Which one is that? I can't think of it. Well, which one is that?
I guess
I've had that happen a few times.
You're like, so which one is it?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. He wasn't much more specific.
My memory's toast. But I kind of remember that it was on a gun drive, I believe. Oh yeah. We shot one, and then that I came out from I went out to get another one, and I came out and the deer was missing. And we were like, "What the hell happened?" And one of the guys goes, "Some guy just took it, dragged it away." And I'm like, "You let him?" And we went to the parking lot, and the guy had dragged it to the parking lot for me to my truck. It's a young guy. Pays to have fans.
Perfect.
Josh, do you see any more?
There's a couple coming in at the end here. These may be just the how Steve asked how far have they figured bears can smell in deer?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I do know of one study with bears where part of the study, the guys that were watching them, the scientists or whatever, said that the bears coming out of hibernation, there was a trend that they saw where these bears would be wandering, and they seemed to wander a lot on crosswinds, like purposely. It was more often they were on a crosswind than anything else when they come out of hibernation. When they come out of hibernation, by the way, they're half starved. They're really hungry. So they're looking for food. And it's kind of winter time where there ain't much food. And he said that these bears that were collared or whatever would all of a sudden stop and turn 90 degrees and go straight into the wind and go up to 10 miles. He said up to 10 miles to find road kills and winter kills and eat them. So they were smelling dead animals to eat 10 miles away.
That's wild.
It's like when Dan wakes up and needs a monster. Just starts
sniffing it out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got up this morning. There was none in the box. I like mine warm. There's none in the box. So I checked the fridge. There's none in the fridge. So I started sniffing. I smell one. That's like, no, that's a green one. That's one of the kids. I need a white one.
Dan puts he puts a white monster in the coffee maker in the morning.
He's just pulling the boxes.
I finally figured out the smell was coming from outside and under my seat in my truck.
Yeah. I'll still never forget.
I don't know how long it was under there, but
I was laying in a cot in Michigan at night, and Eric likes monsters a lot too. And
he drinks way too many.
That's coming from
like
you.
2 cases of monsters in a weekend. We're in Michigan.
Oh, well,
24
I was laying in the cot. It was freezing cold, and we had stoked the fire. I mean, it was just like a perfect night to lay there in a wall tent, And we're all just talking, was BSing with each other, laughing and stuff, and we're all in our sleeping bags. And I look over, and this is like we're going to bed. This is what we're doing. And Eric is he grabs something underneath his cot. And he comes up and he has a monster. And he's been drinking a monster the whole time. Like, are you drinking a monster right now? Like, we are going to bed. Yeah, puts me to sleep.
One for sleep.
We do have a couple super chats here. Andrew, happy New Year's, man.
Thanks
for
Andrew.
the $9.99. And then Avon Legend, he's had the question. Thanks for the $4.99. He says, any plans for Public Land Challenge in 2025?
I'm always open to it. I've talked to Aaron about doing one, and I think he's open to it, but I don't know if it'll happen. Honestly, those guys are pretty separated. It's hard to get them together to do something, and it's a lot of work for them. And I think they get a lot of heat whenever we go someplace. People will complain that we drew a crowd there and ruined their hunting or whatever. Even though we picked the worst places in the world, they'll claim that. We pick places that are actually a challenge. But
yeah. As all Zeke asked how Huck is doing. He's doing good. He's all healed up and ready to go again. So Huck had surgery Friday on his eyes.
Now he's got X-ray vision.
Yep. They're perfect now. Nice and straight. Nope. He's doing good. Thanks for asking though, Zeke. Or James. I think that's all I got. I don't know. I don't see anything else. Do you see any other questions, Ashley?
I'm not seeing any, but like I said, it only gives me to a certain amount of time frame. So I have.
Yeah, I didn't see any other ones. You were where I left off. You kind of picked up. So.
Okay.
Boring time of the year. We're gonna have to get a good guest on.
Yeah.
Next time.
Are you saying we're not cool enough, Dan? Because I think we're cool enough.
You're cool enough. I'm not. I'm not attracting anybody when I'm boring at this time of the year. Maybe if I go kill a giant tomorrow, I'll get everybody excited.
That would do it.
Do it, Dan. I want to see you ride out on a giant. That's my goal for you for the end of your season is to just ride out on a giant. You don't even have to kill it; just ride out on it.
I'd be good with that.
We'll do. I don't know. Maybe people love tactics, like just talking specific tactics, even if we talked about it before.
Yeah, I like that too.
So this spring we'll try to focus in on that stuff, not talk too much about turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Some tactics, get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. It is tough running a hunting channel like all season long though. It's a challenge to keep things interesting. So if anybody has any ideas.
I got a little disappointed this show. Nobody noticed my Christmas story lamp.
No, someone mentioned it in the comments.
They did. There was one. I forgot about that.
I got that for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It is the leg. I couldn't tell.
I went and got a red light for it and everything.
One of my favorite things is when people start like nitpicking Dan's background. Like they see something back there and they gotta
ask what's back there. It's like, where's Waldo? But what's in Dan's background?
Whenever we used to do it, you had a box of ammo back there, and every show someone would comment on that ammo about, I don't know what it was exactly, but it was funny.
They're still up there. They just get shifted around.
Yeah.
Are the stars the super chats?
Yeah, we got another super chat.
Okay.
$5 Canadian. You got some of that Canadian gold.
All right.
Could you
What's
please
up,
have the challenge in Ontario? Well, you know what? Before long, Canada's gonna be the 51st state now. So we'll be able to just freely go up there.
Wouldn't it be nice to go up there and not worry about they're going to send you home and you paid for a hunt? And
yeah,
I'd love to go up there bear hunting and stuff. Be able to just drive like the old days.
Yeah,
or a moose hunt, or
that would be.
I grew up 45 minutes from Canada, and I've never been, and I've always wanted to go.
I've had a lot of people actually come down from Canada and go to our workshops.
Yeah,
really?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
Yep. We could. I would like to hunt in Canada sometime. That was there were some. I remember on the Outdoor Channel back in the day, people go to Saskatchewan and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big deer there.
Yeah, trouble with Saskatchewan, almost everything's baited. But Ontario has some really good hunting for bucks. But I think they get some really big ones. But I think it's kind of like there's not a lot of deer, low numbers, but big bucks. I don't know. That guy who would just put the super chat would know better than me, but I can remember a lot of people that I used to know that used to go up there and shoot some real giants. I think you can just buy a license for deer up there too. I don't think you have to have a guide. I think you have to have a guide for bear or for moose, but not for deer, if I'm right.
Oh, really? If so, that's neat. So you can kind of explore and just kind of do your own thing.
We used to have a guy on the Beast who unfortunately passed away, who was a good friend of mine. Singing Bridge was the name he went by, who bought 10 acres in Ontario. He figured out, I don't know if this is still true, so don't take me for this, but he figured out that if you owned property in Canada, you could bear hunt there every year, and you could just buy a license, and you didn't need a guide. And he'd go up there every year and get his spring and fall bear. And on this 10 acres he bought for almost nothing because it was in the middle of nowhere. But he had to hunt on his 10 acres. But he almost got me to run up there and buy 10 acres next to him.
There you go. Is land cheap up there?
I don't know where he bought it. It was.
All right. You ready to get off here? I think we got through everything. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.